the pack more often than not every other week, and games where you're going to need to have the ball. Are you worried as an Arsenal fan with this tactic? Because at the same time, I'm still not a fan of this Aubameyang on the wing thing, and he would have gone another game without a goal if not for the penalty. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yo, I'm tryna get my sterling up in the city, so s'il vous plaît. As soon as my child can walk, it's straight Project Mbappe. But all the verbal, as soon as I hear that whistle, we get straight to the action. Come on lads, where's the passion? Do like Alamatsi, we wear headbands for the fashion. If the defenders drop back, we counter and then attack them. I got my eye on the ball, I got my eye on the ball, yeah. I got my eye on the ball, I got my eye on the ball, yeah. I got my eye on the ball, I got my eye on the ball.
100%, like, this is, don't get me wrong, I'm not enamored by this win. This doesn't change things. Like, I have not been happy for the last few weeks, months. Like, this three at the back especially, then the Aubameyang on the wing. Like, I was talking about this with Darren earlier in the weekend. I'm just tired of it, to be honest. Today, or yesterday even, I'll say, I can kind of understand why Lacazette started. He did well in the role that he was assigned in terms of he was a defensive striker. Like, he was playing as a false nine, as a defensive striker. But I'll give him props because it worked, innit? But there will be games where that doesn't work, and they will come soon. Do you know what I mean? And they've already happened. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not happy with it because the lack of creativity is disgusting. Like, just don't get me wrong, we had some shots, a lot more shots than we've had in recent games, but in terms of clear-cut chances, it was nowhere near enough, especially for the amount of the ball we had. Like, we saw possession so much, just passing it about, going backwards and forwards on the sides, and it's not good enough. We need to be more penetrative because these half chances aren't going to cut it. We're not always get that penalty to take us across the line, do you know what I mean? So we need to be doing more with the ball. So yeah, I am a bit worried because people are saying it's going to take time to change the offensive side now that he's changed the defensive side, but it needs to happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, for me, once again, him changing the defensive mindset and the structure of Arsenal is definitely brilliant, second to none, and it's something that Arsenal struggled since the Invincible season.
Exactly.
Defensively. So give him credit there, but however, at the compromise of the attacking ability, especially with the attacking players that he has at his disposal, I'm not sure. But for you, Darren, I think for the sustained spell, there's always games where it flip-flops, where one side dominates, then the other side dominates. In these type of big games, it happens, innit? But for your sustained period of pressure, and I put that in quotation marks because you didn't really make any chances.
You don't have any sustained periods of pressure.
For it to come in like the 85th minute, I think it was, or the 86th minute.
And even that, if we're honest, half the time it was just Lindelof and Maguire doing 1-2s in their half.
Boy, just tell me, you have free reign, man. I don't have a question. Just shoot, innit? Just shoot.
There's so many layers to it, man. Where do I start? I start with Oli. It takes me back to the conversation that we had a couple episodes ago, Daniel, man, because I was trying to make the argument that, in the short term, we might have a couple good games, we might pick up a couple good results, but I don't trust Oli to build anything. And that's been the recurring theme since he's been around. Like 100 games now he's been around, and we still don't have a style of play.
I think that's mad. I didn't like when they said he'd been around for 100 games. I'm thinking, right, he's been there for a while,
bro. 100 games, and you haven't been able to develop a system. You haven't been able to, consistently develop players to where they're performing every week. You haven't been able to, actually develop a style. You can't even enable your players to string 2 or 3 passes together. I just think it's embarrassing.
Is that Oli though? The fact
bro,
that they can't
bro.
Look what was happening. Let me tell you what was a big thing that was.
Bro, Brighton kicked better ball than us, bro. Brighton kicked better ball than us.
There was, in my opinion though, like, think about it. There's situations now, where in the first half, you had the ball. Maguire would have the ball, play it to Lindelof, maybe it will go out to Wan-Bissaka, then it will go into Fred.
Bro.
Hold on. It would go into Fred. Then McTominay would go into go right in front of him, as in a straight line.
McTominay was lost. I'm not.
He was
gonna lie.
so confused.
We haven't even got to the players yet, but I think obviously, listen, McTominay shouldn't be anywhere near the starting lineup. That's first and foremost. Secondly, why did you? When we played Leipzig, which was the first time we actually used the diamond, Fred was banging on the right, box to box. Matic was the sitter. Why would you move Fred to playing deeper when you know his passing is probably his weakness, and teams like to press him? You don't change his position when it's only the second game that you actually implementing the system. It doesn't make any sense. Matic is the only genuine sitter that we have. And if you know how Arsenal play, Arsenal are going to say, you can have the ball. You know, we're going to sit back, keep it tight. We literally said to them, listen, mate, the truth is we're not really good enough to, you know, pop it around in your own half. So how about you bring it to us? That's literally what ended up happening. Because we couldn't move the ball. We ended up teetering with it in our centre-backs. Our centre-backs were popping it around there. Other than that, Arsenal had the ball. Arsenal literally had the ball. I think it's so frustrating because it's like, I don't have faith in Ole, but he is the guy at the moment. And it feels like, you know, we might have a couple nice results. We might play decent, you know, but in terms of actually building something, you know, sustainability, consistency, I have no clue where it's going to come from, how it's going to happen. I have no faith that it's going to happen. It's just so tough right now, man.
My ears, man.
I think oh yeah, go on.
Other things I want to touch on, innit? Just the passing.
You have all the time in the world, bro. Go on.
Bro, the passing is abysmal. We're at Old Trafford, and you know that Arsenal are going to let you have the ball. That they're banging free at the back because they want to soak things up, and they're banging El Neni and Party. You know they're going to keep things tight. The onus is going to be on us. We're at home. Why are McTominay and Fred playing? I would even argue Bruno. As much as, you know, Bruno's been our guy, his passing completion is less than 80% every game.
Yeah, I mean, in my recent video, I kind of highlight it. I say that Paul Pogba has never really had a defined role at Man United. In his 5 years, he's never had a defined role. Bro, the end of that game, he was playing on the left wing, on the left of midfield. Like,
ridiculous.
You're not, are you being serious? Like, as much as you want to criticize Paul Pogba, I'm sorry, like, that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But all the same, man, Paul Pogba was kind of at a crossroads. So I'll come to you first, Manny. Like, what do you think? Just what do you think about the Paul Pogba situation?
Polarizing players on the planet, bro.
I mean, it was good that there was at least one world-class player on the pitch.
He came to party, innit?
I'm glad there was someone that was able to show what world-class looks like, innit? Giving Paul Pogba that label for a bit too long, and someone had to show him on his own turf what that really means, innit? But to be fair, like you said, I will give him some credit for the fact that he hasn't had any sort of stability since he got there, basically. I don't know if it's enough to excuse what he does or the mistakes
he hasn't done.
Yeah, literally, like, because I just feel like some games I would want him to just take the game by the scruff of the neck and just be more of an influence on the game. Like, I'm not saying that he needs to score or screamer. I'm not saying he needs to make the game-winning assists or anything like that, but he should be able to raise the tempo with the team. He's supposed to be like one of the leaders there. Do you know what I mean? Like, he does it for us.
You're preaching, bro.
You can't say he doesn't show his or exert his influence on the pitch, but it just seems like if he makes one mistake, he spends the rest of the game trying to chase that and trying to make up for it, but in a way that doesn't benefit the team. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes he just needs to stick to what his role is and do that well. Sometimes that's actually enough. You know what I mean? But obviously I get that there's a lot of pressure on him from literally everyone, including me, in it. Like, I'm onto him as soon as there's one mistake, because that's what he did, innit? Like, he's, at the end of the day, there was a big price tag, so you're gonna get it. But Yeah, it's a bit like it's 6 or 1, half a dozen of the other.
Coming in with the odds in that.
It's a difficult one for him, but he should be doing better. Like I'm not. He had the ball the most out of the midfield that I saw yesterday, to be honest. But what he did with it, I couldn't tell you.
I mean, before I give my take, Darren, what do you think? What do you think about the Pogba thing?
I think Manny made some great points, man. As much as I love him, man, like the guy's talent is undeniable, but sometimes you just have to fulfill a role. Do you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just have to keep things ticking. You might have to be a little carrick to where you're sitting back. You don't need to beat a man. You don't need to take a 40-yard shot. All you have to do is empower the guys around you. It literally might be as simple as that. Tell Wan-Bissaka to get high up the pitch. Tell Luke Shaw to get high up the pitch. You're taking the pressure off them by having the ball and trying to make them better. I think that those are the aspects to his game that he needs to develop, man. 5 years at the club, I feel like we haven't seen the best of him, and he's been around for 5 years. Again, you made some good points, Daniel, that especially on your little episode that you did. But I don't know, man. I just don't feel him personally. I'm sure he's not satisfied with his performances. He probably thinks personally, I've been here for 5 years, or I've been back for 5 years, and I haven't really, I haven't shown who I am. And I think obviously some of that is down to the manager. Some of that is on him, but I just feel like him personally, he's got to understand the game better, understand his role better. I think Ole has to do better as well, though, man, because your best player, you need to put him in a position to be successful, but you have to be able to trust him. And that's my issue with Pogba, because Mourinho couldn't trust him. Ole's sat him on the bench the past 3-4 games, apart from the most recent ones. It just feels like you can't trust him.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you men are saying, and 100%. I think the tone of my video wasn't to excuse him. It was just to kind of shed light on why he's not performed, basically. Mm-hmm. I'm just giving the whys, innit? Bro, I couldn't care less about Man United and the situation that's happening at their club. But all the same, players that I do like to shed light on it, and Paul Pogba is definitely one of them. I think for me, 100. You guys have said...
Well, I agree with you, though. There is a lot of layers to why he hasn't been the guy.
Yeah.
And 5 years. Like,
it's a long time, man. It's a long time.
It's to the point that there's so many reasons why he hasn't been that guy.
I mean, the one of the main things I point to is in 5 years he's had 3 managers and he could be on his 4th. There's no continuity. There's no continuity in manager. There's no continuity in playing style. There's no continuity even in the players in midfield. Like, look how many different midfield combinations he's played with over his time. Like, there's literally...
If we actually looked that up, I'm sure it'll
be crazy. It'll be stupid, exactly. So, yeah, it's just a difficult one, man. You've just got to, as a manager, find a way to get the best out of your best players. I don't care what anyone says, even if he's no longer in the world-class category. Paul Pogba is still top 3 players in that Man United squad, and that's facts.
100%.
You get what I'm saying? So you have to find a way to make him play well. I think there's things that you guys touched on that I'm going to quickly break down. You said sometimes he needs to simplify it, do his role, sometimes do the carrot role. It's just hard, because what is his role? What is he being told to do? What is being asked of him? You say he should just do the carrot role and do it himself, but if the manager's not saying he should do that, he's not going to do that, especially when he's not that player. Like, he's when think about it. If a manager doesn't come in and tell Neymar, cool, I don't want you to do any of this stuff, I want you to do this. Oh no, let me even give a better example. Pep Guardiola, when Henry goes to Barcelona, Pep Guardiola stripped back Henry's game so much that he was a totally different player. No one can tell me the Henry at Arsenal was the same Henry at Barcelona, and that's because of coaching. Pep wanted something different of Henry, a maverick. Henry was doing kick-ups in midfield in the Premier League. You think he could dare do that under Pep Guardiola? No way. And that comes down to coaching. No matter how great of a player you are, your role is defined by the coach. What the coach wants you to do, that's what you will do or not do, depending on whether you're listening to him.
But you know what? I'll counter, bro.
Before you count, actually, counter now.
Yeah, I just feel like, because we asked the manager to be able to read the game. you get what I'm saying? Why can't we ask the same with the players?
This is my thing.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because me with Bruno, like, as much as I love the production, bro, there's a 90-minute game. You can't have a 10-20-minute period where you're hard and then play dead the rest. Like, that's not football, especially at Manchester United. Like, you have to be able to adjust to a way a team is defending you and to what you're going to be allowed to do. But go on, man.
Go on, man. Yeah, go on.
My thing is, when I'm saying simplify the game and like Darren saying read the game, bear in mind, in this diamond, there are two defensive players. There's Fred and there's McTominay. They can't do what Pogba does when it comes to going forward. And obviously Bruno is playing as a 10. I don't think Pogba even needs to be in the box when he makes that foul. But he's doing too much, as he does so many times, which is why he's conceded so many penalties. You've got two defensive players there protecting the back four, which is even too like it's too many anyway. But that's what it is.
I mean, you say that, but if he wasn't there, then Bellerin has a free cross. Do you get what I'm saying?
This is the thing, though. You can't always kill yourself, like trying to, because he's overdoing it.
Do you know what? And I hear what you are saying. I fully hear it, but I'm a fan of the guy who puts himself in the position to make a mistake over the guys who shy away from it. Yeah, fair enough. Fred and McTominay aren't the go-to guys, bro. They're squad players, and that's all they will ever be. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, he's trying his best to put this team on his back, and it's not coming off. And there's no doubt about it. I understand it, but fam, if we look at his, let's look at the teams where he has played well. Bro, it's because of the system. The reason why he worked so well in Juventus is because he had Marquisio, Vidal, he had Pirlo, he had players who allowed him to thrive. France, the same thing. Like, bro, tell me
the key name is Pirlo, by the way. In the Juventus days, because he controls the game,
and that takes pressure off of Pogba. People are saying that Pogba should be the one to be taking pressure of the rest of the play. Pogba needs pressure to be taken off of him because he has the most pressure. That's why I see it in a totally reverse way. He can't have
fair, that. But that exact argument is to why people say he's not world class.
Yeah.
Because why do you guys need to take pressure off him?
For the pride.
For him to thrive, innit?
But
we've never seen like a maverick like him. He's a winger playing in centre mid, like because of his build and everything, his flair and what he's got. We've never seen that type of midfielder before. So when you have situations like this, the circumstances are different. He obviously the resources that he's going to need are different. Like, fam, before I look at Pogba, I look at recruitment, I look at coaching, and at the end of the day, if you do not put the best system around him, you can't be angry when he doesn't perform, in my opinion. Yes, of course, like, don't get me wrong, Pogba deserves a lot of the credit. I mean, a lot of the criticism, sorry. Like, if not more, 60%, like, because it is him at the end of the day, and he's the one playing. But, fam, all in all, players, it's not like basketball where there's 5 man and you're the star of the team. It's an 11-man game, innit? Like, there's bare players on the pitch, and there's only so much you can do as a player. But yeah, it's a hard one, man. It just depends on what side of the coin you fall on, man.
Exactly. And I hear your point about you have to look at the system first. But I understand. I genuinely
my thing is, you can't name me one player, yeah, like one centre mid that we've considered great. As in, you can't even name me one, and it's not a coincidence. One centre mid who has had like piss poor circumstances, or not. Let me not say because Pogba's had piss poor. Let me just say not good circumstances, because I'm telling you, Pogba hasn't even had one good circumstance. Because even that 2-month period that you're talking about, fam, it's because Ole came in, new lease of life, new manager, all of that kind of.
Exactly.
Do you get what I'm saying? So you can't name me one centre midfielder who has had not great circumstances and has still managed to rise above it and play well to the best of his ability. Even Gerrard, where they say he didn't have great owners, bro, Gerrard was still put in a good situation where he could compete for Champions League during that like 2004 to 2008-ish period, competing for Champions League, competing for the Premier League. Like, even Gerrard had good circumstances at a period of time. In 5 years, he hasn't had one good circumstance or one good season where you could say, yeah, we're going into the season with Pogba leading us and let's see what we can achieve.
He doesn't deserve to be in the squad at all. I'm expecting to see you make up for it. And
Yeah. But just in my opinion, the thing about Arsenal is I'm gonna see the games where we think Özil is gonna be needed. You're not always gonna have fam. The reason why Partey thrived is because he's coming from a system and a league where he's been drilled to play in a low block, two banks of four, two strikers. Simeone does not change, no flexibility. He's playing he comes to Arsenal, Arteta's doing the same thing. So definitely thrived. It's just going to be interesting to see how well he performs against teams, of course, who are doing the same to him, innit? And he's been asked to break it.
And obviously, up till now, he hasn't done well enough. And that's the problem majorly. Like, regardless of these kind of results where we've beat like Liverpool, we beat Man City, we beat Man U now, that's all well and good, but we're losing to Brighton. We're losing to Leicester after 11 shots in the first half, 1 shot in the second half.
Like, you know what it sounds like? You're just another version of United, but you're better drilled.
Yeah.
Because that's literally the same scenario we're in, fam. We can go Paris and get a win. We can go like places and get a win. But in terms of but where I give the edge to Arteta for me is, firstly, he hasn't got Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, Van der Beek, them man there. Secondly,
but he's got Özil, he's got Pepe, big.
I think the Özil one is
even bigger than Pogba to a degree.
No, but it just depends on where you stand in terms of, because I feel like that's not a him decision.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, it's not a him decision. No, but that's my point though. If imagine Arteta's losing. Man, and he's saying, it was my decision. And now we see that he's saying it's my decision to not have Özil.
But fam, what else is
worse on him?
Exactly.
Fam, that's life, innit?
You're telling me that it's you, so everything lies at your doorstep.
Exactly, that's my point. So that's why I think the Özil situation is bigger than the Pogba one. At least you have a player who's playing. Pogba's there and available. Özil was like, he couldn't even get involved in the 25-man squad. Telling me the 25-man...
I'm talking about the actual lack of creativity. If the board are saying, or higher ups in the club are saying, Özil can't play for us, what's he supposed to do?
No, I know, but at the end of the day, even though we're saying we know, at the end of the day, we don't know. We say we know, but we don't know.
No, I'm not saying I know.
And Arteta is saying he chose to exclude him, so we can only go off of Arteta's word.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's my point.
Even based off what you're saying, Darren, like, the problem is, I would understand if things aren't going well, but you're doing what fans would regard as the right thing, or you're doing things that make sense. Aubameyang on the left doesn't make sense. All season it's been clear, and you're still doing it. So if you're losing the game 1-0 to Leicester and Aubameyang has been on the left wing, if you're losing to Man City 1-0, Aubameyang's been marked by Walker the whole match and you haven't changed it. Willian's playing a false 9 before you're playing Aubameyang in the middle. Then there's no excuses for it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you were doing things I could understand the logic behind, and it's just not working out, then cool. But if you're playing Willian as a false 9, you better win. Because I'm not trying to see that in the lineup, and then we played the way that we played. Because I don't know what you're trying to do there.
I mean, just because of time, I'm gonna ask. Next game, obviously Europa League, and the game after that is Aston Villa, which is going to be a tough game. A flary team, new players, new lease of life. But going forward, what do you expect of Arsenal for this season? Based off of what you've seen so far, I think you've had two defeats, maybe 2 draws, 2 wins, whatever. Yeah, whatever it's been.
I mean, 4 wins, 3 losses, I think, this season.
Yeah, and then 1 draw, something like that. Anyway,
I'm not sure. Yeah, but to be fair, it's a pretty good show of where we are as a team. The fact that we are so up and down right now. Arteta is still figuring it out. He's still figuring out the formation, to be honest. Like, everybody knows he's trying to get to a 4 at the back. But we've also seen that it doesn't necessarily work so easily. It's going to take a while to kind of get them drilled in the same way that they have been drilled in the 3 at the back. So defensively, we're fine. We've got the best defensive record in the league, which is saying something when you're talking about Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? You don't usually put those two things together.
Says a lot.
And we faced Man City, we faced Liverpool, we faced Man U now. Do you know what I mean? So all credit to him. Like, you have to give credit where it's due, but the problem going forward is still there.
Yeah.
He still doesn't know what his best front three is, which is a bit worrying because it has been like 6 months of football now.
Yeah.
And
At least it ain't been 100 games, mate. At least it ain't been 100 games.
yeah, look, you can't compare Ole to Arteta. It's an insult, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
Genuinely.
yeah. In saying that, then for you, Darren, how long do you give Ole? Like, what's the ceiling now for the season if he remains in charge?
In terms of how long do I give him? For me, if he loses against Everton, he should be gone.
Yeah.
You know, because bro, we're still getting over the wound that was the 6-1 loss against Tottenham.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and in terms of his ceiling, bro, we're a yo-yo team, so we could literally get to the Champions League quarterfinal and finish 14th in the league. So I think anything's possible, man. But genuinely, I'd say I don't see us finishing the top 4.
Yeah, and that's a damning statement, really.
And that's just the reality, man. We're way too inconsistent. I think it's a reflection on the manager and the players, fam. Because some of them you can excuse because of youth, you know, the players, but a lot of them are just inconsistent. And same goes for the manager.
But yeah, we'll leave it there, man. Once again, Manny, we appreciate you for coming on, giving your thoughts
My brother
on the game. Definitely, we'll be back on to talk more Arsenal. We got a lot of more Arsenal topics that will. Arsenal are going to be a team that are going to be in the headlines soon, so we already know you'll be back on. But yeah, that's our match reaction. Eyes on the Ball TV. Be out.
Peace.